What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Tesla today, TSLA. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are on this, the 16th of April, at about $242 right now after hours, closing the day at $241.55 there. It's important to note that we only have 1 day left in the week. We will not be open on Friday. Looking at this on a weekly basis, you got overbought and you came all the way down to the oversold zone, but you're reluctant to get there, aren't you? You just can't quite get oversold, can you? You did the same thing back here, and each time that you bounce off the oversold zone, it did lead you to lower prices. Inevitably, maybe you go lower, but I don't know if you do. We look at the relative low here. In fact, actually, let's look at this relative low and put it to this relative high. You found support right in the golden ratio before moving higher, right? When you're at these levels in the RSI for quite some time. If you look at this here, from a relative low to the relative high, you're at the same golden ratio. Now, you found support here, and I remember a couple weeks ago, or whenever the last time was that I talked about Tesla, I was bearish because this reaction with selling wicks, with selling pressure, not looking like you want to continue going higher, getting a lot of volume here, but not going anywhere, that wasn't a good thing. So I thought that we'd go to the downside, but still the volume persisted. It came in even heavier. We were postured to the downside, and we still didn't go anywhere. So whenever you look at this for what it is, you should have broken out, but you didn't. You should have broken out this way, but you didn't. You just stayed in this area, and really all you did was you bounced, you held support, you did a double bottom at the golden ratio, which you found support at before was the golden ratio right there, with immaculate volume, right? All this volume came in during these weeks here, during the very low points. I wonder what's going on, right? There's probably a lot of accumulation that's happening here at the golden ratio, a very ideal area to bounce from, and I think that Tesla is on its way to new all-time highs, guys. I think that's what's happening right here. We're gearing up for that. This next move is going to take you higher. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I think last week that bullish engulfing candle, that amount of volume there, and just bouncing off the oversold area, bouncing off the golden ratio, I think that to me, it hasn't completely validated, it hasn't completely solidified that this is the low, but it's made me think that we have found the low and that we are moving up higher. If you want to validate this as a low, what you need to do is technically get above the 236, get above $363. If we can get a week to close or a day to close above $363, I'll be convinced. I mean, I'm already convinced at this point that that is the low, but I think everybody can stand to be convinced at that price, right? You can't really argue it at that point anymore. We're postured to the upside. Now, how long is it going to take to get there? I don't know, right? It could take a couple weeks, it could take a couple months, maybe in 2 months we're at new all-time highs, maybe in 4 months we're at new all-time highs, but I don't believe we're going to be going lower, or if we do go lower, it won't be too much lower. But not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If we were to go lower, 180, 160, that could be the target area that we see. However, again, I don't believe that we do go below these lows. In fact, I think that we're building from here. Daily RSI bouncing off the oversold zone is one thing. A lot of volume coming in, and we didn't go anywhere. We didn't go to the downside. It looks like we've got some bullish divergence here as well. We have a higher low in the RSI with double bottom, a slightly lower low on the daily closing basis here. That is bullish divergence at the bottom. Again, a lot of volume building. You're not going anywhere. You had every reason to break lower. You had every reason to break lower and continue to go down, and you just didn't do it. Oftentimes in those situations, you turn the other direction and start moving up, right? Looking at this on a 3-hour, maybe a daily basis. I thought it was on the daily basis, but I was on the 3-day basis. That's okay. Daily RSI kind of sucks, but it's neutral, as is the price action. So I'm not really getting anything off of that. I'm not going to worry about that at all. 3-hour time frame as well, rather neutral. Let's just see what you're doing relatively speaking here. Off of this, sure, off of this high to low here. 786 down to your 236, very common actually, especially whenever you just rip up like that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I stand by it. The 236 at 363, when you get above that, that'll validate this as a low and likely send you to higher prices. Let's talk about that. What will higher prices look like whenever you do get going? Assuming that this is the low, we can take this high to low actually, and I want to compare it to another high to low real quick, right? Because we get our extensions this way, $609 and beyond that. I'm not taking the actual low, I'm taking this low of the move, not the fake out low. Does that make sense? Let's look at this on a monthly basis too. Yeah, I feel pretty confident in this one here. From a high to a low right there. Your monthly RSI is killer too. The weekly and the monthly RSI, the 3-day RSI, they all look great. You get on the shorter term time frames, not as great, but everything else looks phenomenal. So you're actually at a point where I would very much expect you to bounce. I mean, we look at this, like right here. yeah, support on support in this area, right? And you've been forming higher lows since 2023. It looks like on your monthly RSI. So this is a nice area to bounce from, I think. Looking at oh right, my bad. Looking at these fibs here, from a high to a low back in 2021, from the high to the low here in December 2024, the 1272s are at the exact same level there at $609. This one grows a little bit slower because it was a smaller overall fib. We do have targets at $607, $1,000, and even beyond that, right? Tesla is not afraid of breaking through that $1,000 barrier. It's done it several times. I mean, how many splits have there been where this thing went to above $1,000 and it had to split? Let's just see. There was one right there where we had to split. Two. I swear there's been more than that. Maybe it just doesn't show back here. But I swear, maybe there's just been two. I swear there's like 3 or 4, but whatever. You're going to go through your third one, apparently. Your third split whenever you do see $1,000. And the reason for that is, Elon Musk understands that the average person doesn't have $1,000 in their bank account. Hold on. I got to sneeze, but I couldn't sneeze there. That was sad. I wanted to, but it's okay. The average person doesn't have $1,000 in their bank account. This price is down here. Whenever you split it, whenever you dilute the stock a bit, it makes it a little bit more affordable for the average person to invest in. Although, to be fair, there is fractional investing now on a lot of exchanges, so that's not really a complete necessity anymore. But I digress. We're at $242 now after hours. The minimum target from here is $609. If I had to give a maximum target, I suppose we could reach for $1,000. However, I don't think we're going to see $1,000 by the end of this next move, right? I don't think we're just slingshotting to $1,000 by the end of June, by the end of July, however long it is that it takes, right? If this was a move up here and then you consolidated for a bit, this was a move up here and then you consolidated for a bit, your next move, I could see you going up as high as this area, but all the way up here, I don't think so. So I'm going to call for 607 to 806, something in this area as your next high. That's where I believe Tesla's going. And I think I would say that you're going to be on that path. You're going to see a lot of growth over May and June, but I think you'll continue to grow into summer, into late summer probably. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of uncertainty and hate surrounding Tesla right now for politically charged reasons. I think that once this thing starts to come out of the woodworks, once the price is growing at the rate that we all know it can grow, that'll loosen the shackles of doubt that this thing is being held down by. The smart money, the institutional players out there, they're aware that this thing is about to rip, that it's going to go to new all-time highs. You can see it in the volume, right? The last time that we were at a relatively low point, we had a lot of volume come in at that relative low point, didn't we? And look at how the path went so far. We went all the way up to new all-time highs. Here we are here, a lot higher from that low. I think that we've got a lot higher to go still. And ultimately, by the end of this year, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Tesla was worth $1,000 or more. By the end of the summer, $800 maybe, right? By the end of this next move, $600, $800, something in that range. But by the end of the year, end of 2025, maybe even going into 2026, we could see $1,000 or more. Absolutely, we could. Potentially even $1,400, but we'll see. That would make Tesla an insanely high market cap of a stock. Let's see. Market cap right now is $776 billion with the B, you guys. $176 billion with the B. Hold on. Is this the right area? I can't tell where I'm at here. This is the right area. Okay, so right there. Hold on. If we go all the way up to $1,000, which I think we will, that's a 4x, 4 times 7.8. What is that? That's going to be a $3 trillion market cap, over a $3 trillion market cap. Yeah. I think Tesla can see a $3 trillion market cap or more. I think you could see even more than that, man. 5, a 6x, 6 times 7, that's 42, right? Plus another 4. So what, that would be like 4.6 trillion? Is that what that would be? Am I doing my math correctly? I think I'm doing my math correctly. 4.6, 5 trillion, something like that. Crazy numbers, guys, but I think that it can see this level of growth. It can maintain that kind of structure. We'll see how it goes. I've got nothing else for you guys. A little bit of downside could come your way, but ultimately I do think that you found your low. Don't be surprised at all if tomorrow or starting next week you see a little bit of downside. That's fine if you do, but at this point in time, I'd be more focused about the upside. And any kind of downside from here is going to be insignificant if you get it at all. The overall call that I'm making here is that we are moving up. The next target area to focus on would be, I suppose, let's see, from a relative high to a relative low here. The next target area to focus on would be at about $358 or maybe even $300 itself. Once you get above $300, we're on to $360 to $380. And then once you break above that, it's time to start thinking about new all-time highs. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Tesla's looking good. I think it's bottomed out. Bye-bye.